All right, I'm Mikkel C. Clark here with Mogul Millennial, and I'm honored today to be talking to Michael James, the founder of Frederick Benjamin Grooming. Sir, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing really well. Thank you for having me.
That's,
Honored to be here with you.
that's good. Feeling is mutual. So we'll go ahead and jump right into it, man. You, of course, work in grooming, which is it's really important for like anybody wants to feel. But in your experience, how does personal appearance shape an entrepreneur's attitude and outlook?
I think it's everything. I think I know when you look good. I mean, we always say within the company, when you look good, you feel good, and when you feel good, you project this sense of, of passion and confidence. That feeling is what we've been trying to package and provide to our customers, and continue to provide to our customers. So, looking good for me is everything.
And I know you have a wealth of experience. Can you talk about how your work with Revlon and L'Oreal helped you to scale Frederick Benjamin?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think it really helped me jump over a ton of different hurdles in terms of product management, if you will. With Revlon and L'Oreal, I was responsible for not only managing a brand from the business side. I mean, counting widgets, forecasting, presenting marketing plans and ideas to, C-suite. So I was able to cut my teeth with telling that business story. But more importantly, I worked on a lot of small brands within those organizations, which gave me the opportunity to not only get the sense of that business, that side of the business, but also spend a lot of time in the labs with the chemists and watching, or really leading product development from concept to retail shelf and being able to do that a number of different times. I mean, that really helped me, really cut development time and cost pretty much in half or maybe even a quarter. So I just had that experience. I had a Rolodex of chemists. And so when I started, noodling this in my brain, I was already reaching out to those guys.
Incredible.
And I had that tactical, I spent a lot of time in the salon as well, not only watching the product in action, but being able to train my hands and eyes to feel a difference in, skin or the coating of hair based on different products. I mean, it was real, for me, it was real interesting. This is a job that I got right out of business school. All my other friends went to banks and they were lawyers, and, I find myself at the bar talking to women about cosmetics and hair, and they were like, dude, you're winning over here. But it was just that experience, and I developed a passion for it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Now, it's a well-known fact, and I'm sure we can both speak to this, that Black entrepreneurs face an uphill battle when it comes to many things, including funding their businesses. Can you talk about the roadblocks you faced when funding Frederick Benjamin?
Yeah, I mean, those roadblocks are, unfortunately still present.
Mm-hmm.
But they're huge. I mean, just one being getting into the right rooms, or getting into a room where actually someone understands what you're trying to solve for, and the fact that it's a big enough need, but then having, the resources in order to, fund the venture, right? So just being in the proximity is a challenge. But then being in front of folks that, for me, when I pitched this thing and we talked about men of color, I knew I kind of started losing them when I, narrowed my focus to men of color, because then they were like, oh, well, the market is small. And I'd lose them, but I would, keep going, and I explained that we spend 3-4 times more than the average guy, and we've got specific issues that general market, and just going round and round, and I'm still going round and round, but I'm finding that for us, it's less so of, well, not less so, but folks that are like, I just want to help Black entrepreneurs. Whatever you're doing, those guys, I'm starting to get traction with, right? So it's tough, man. I mean, it's still tough. We're still in that dance of raising capital. We've raised a little, but I found that you keep your head down, put the numbers on the board. I mean, we've got to be able to not only show and prove, but that we've got and have solved the market and we've got repeat purchases, but we're able to kind of manage those funds, use them in the right way to further grow the business. So it's a constant uphill battle, and we're still pushing that big stone up the hill.
Got it. So it sounds like some keys to getting funding thus far has been to just be consistent, to show and prove, and then to find the funders who actually are intentional about supporting Black-owned brands.
I mean, I think so. Yeah, I think it will get easier. I'm thinking it will get easier as we continue to scale and grow the business. The fact that we're in Ulta makes this more real, if you will, and the fact that Ulta has been a tremendous partner. They're in line with our strategy of multiculturalism as well as men's grooming, and when you have that convergence, they've given us a shot. And so just getting those small wins will help that story and help people visualize and crystallize what it is you're trying to solve for.
Got it. And how did you go about preparing to pitch in Ulta? How did you get ready for that type of meeting?
Yeah, well, again, that goes, so one, I was nervous as hell, but I had the experience with Revlon and with the L'Oreal pitching buyers on new ideas or new product launches. And so I kind of had I knew exactly what I needed to put into the deck, right? It's much like a pitch deck. We're pitching these guys the same way we would pitch an entrepreneur, and explain to them what we're looking to solve for, who this customer is. With Ulta, it was like, we're bringing you a brand new customer base. So this was totally incremental business. And it was a little easy because they were also trying to crack code for men as well. And so, I had a sales guy coming along with me. I took one of my investors along as well. We really spent a lot of time on our story and our slides. And, after introductions and just the small talk of the business, I felt at home. I really felt that I did my homework. I'm an expert in this. And then, it just became a conversation, which later just became the workings of a great relationship. So, we had a bit of an inside. We begged for some time and just went in, got 30 minutes. We all flew out to Chicago and just kept in touch. I mean, it was about 4 or 5 months before we got the word that the PO came in. And so we were like, word, now we have to stand on the good products. But, it's one of those things where you just have to talk to everybody and then hope one will hit and click and somebody will give you a shot.
Well, I'm glad you got that shot.
I am too.
Yeah. And you mentioned, of course, knowing what to put in a pitch deck and telling your story in a certain way as part of that pitch deck. Can you talk more about what you include in decks in general?
Yeah. So, first and foremost, the really getting across the understanding of the issue that we're solving for and why the current market is not solving for it. And having that category background, I was not only able to speak in generalities, but really get into some of the chemistry behind, why men of color just have bad reaction to ingredients that you find in the on the drugstore shelf. That's one, and then two, it goes back to kind of credibility, right? So we also put up front the fact that I had, and my sales guy had industry experience. We've walked halls of the Ultas before in our lives, and we've serviced accounts, and we know how to move products through distribution centers, and so being able to speak in language and really demonstrate that we understood how to move product, I think was also important, and that was in there. And then more importantly, just being able to demonstrate the fact that we had a built-in customer base that, were, a repeatable customer base that we would then not only look to kind of shift as convenience to Ulta stores, but also, try to bring our new customers into their stores. And so, it was really a combination of a lot of things that help us prepare and pitch and win that account.
Got it. And thanks so much for sharing. What advice can you give to Black male founders in the beauty space that have launched their business and are waiting to get their products, like you were waiting, into retail stores?
Yeah, well, so my first recommendation would be don't wait. Direct to consumer should be your focal point. Mm-hmm. Like from the start to the fact that, an Ulta or a Target will take you in. Because that's what they're looking for. The fact that have you created a repeatable flow of business yourself, right? So I would start out not even thinking about, getting in, it can always be in the long-term plan, but in the short term, if we can't figure out the direct-to-consumer model, then retail will not only give you a ton of headaches, but it will cost you more money coming out than it is going in. Because the retailer never loses. And what I mean by that is they're going to keep their margins whole, right? And so if you ship them a truckload of products that they can't sell, they're going to sell that product back to you full freight, meaning, full price, right? So you've got to not only pay what I paid, but cover my margin as well. So focus first and foremost on the direct-to-consumer model. Make sure that the products are working. Make sure you've gone through a lot of iterations of production so that your production facility is producing time and time again, consistently to spec. And, even before that, don't be afraid to listen to those customers and really figure out what they like, what they dislike about the product, and make those edits prior to going to the big stage. So, for me, I started in the barbershop because the barbers are really real. Direct to consumer, reading my reviews, getting on the phone with customers. A lot of these products are on their second and third iteration. And now we think we've got it. So, hopefully that is, that's what I would give advice. And, my advice to all entrepreneurs, don't be afraid to start small. Mm-hmm. Start small. A lot of folks are saying, go big or go home. And my philosophy is like, not that much in this day and age when you got digital, because you can always test and optimize. Mm-hmm. Test, optimize, put a little bit more budget in. And then when you have it, then you can go all in. But even when you're going all in, you should still test and optimize. So
yeah. So a whole lot more than just flying out to Chicago for a meeting here and there.
A lot more. That's right.
Gotcha. That's right. Okay. My final question to you. So a mogul is defined as an important or powerful person. What would you say makes you a mogul millennial?
I just think the tenacity, the fact that, I find power and strength.
Mm.
Now, I don't feel like I have any more power than anyone else, but what I do have is just a will to win, a will to know that I don't know it all, to take input, and to switch and optimize when needed. So I feel like I'm very flexible, and I just try to stay agile. And so I think that's what makes me a mogul millennial, if you will.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, Michael, thank you so much for your time. I've gotten insight just asking the questions and hearing you talk, and I can't wait to hear our audience experience as well. So thank you again for everything.
All right, well, thanks for having me. I can't wait to share this with our customers as well.